Hey y'all, so this is my review for The Real Housewives of Miami, Season 4, Reunion Part 1 of 2. Thank God, it's only 2 parts, that's all it needed. They gave us a cute, 12 episodes? All we need is 2. Keep it short and sweet. So, even the beginning of this reunion, I'm happy, more happier than this reunion I just did with Salt Lake City. They start off with Lux. So Nicole takes her private jet and takes Adriana as well as Julia along with her to New York because that's where they're filming the reunion. Of course, it's cold and wet in New York compared to Miami where it's 81 degrees. But then we see the other ladies the morning of. It's still dark outside. So instead of the ladies having their own trailers, it's 3 to a trailer. And they're all getting their makeup done and getting dressed. I'm looking at this like, the Peacock budget couldn't give y'all your own dressing rooms or something? Because at least these ladies, they came dressed to impress. I'm looking at y'all, Beverly Hills and Salt Lake City. Ooh, and we see Nicole flaunting that new engagement ring, and that rock is huge. And Lisa, of course, just spoke my sentiment. She's like, wait, I don't get my own dressing room, I do my makeup? Exactly. Production's like, girl, don't get too comfortable. We just got this show back up. Season 5 is not guaranteed. Oh, Guerdy in this green dress. Again, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. I think I would have to switch my best dress because in my last episode, I gave Alexia best dress, but just looking at her move in this and then the hair and the makeup too. Yeah, Guerdy's best dressed. I'm allowed to change my mind. I will say this is a beautiful set. They made it look just like the Versace mansion. Just really like expensive and gaudy. Wow, so according to Alexia, they had an 8-year break between seasons 3 and 4. So Julia is sitting right next to Andy? Really? Interesting. I mean, of course, I think it would be Alexia. Well, Larsa really didn't contribute anything. It can't be Adriana because she's a friend of, or Marisol. I guess that makes sense. So most of the ladies have arrived on set and Andy's like, where is Lisa? Lisa is late and y'all know Andy, he can switch from wonky-eyed cheerful gay to messy-ass bitchy queen. Just like that. Oh, Andy is like, okay, there's no welcome parade, you can sit down. They must have had them waiting at least 30 minutes. I would be pissed too because those reunions are long. And then you can't be that late when you're sitting that far away from Andy too. So the reunion finally starts and Andy greets the ladies and say how long it's been since the Real Housewives of Miami been on air. Oh, I just realized the couch placement. They have all the new cast members on one side of the couch. Okay. So after all the ladies take a tequila shot to loosen up, Andy gets started with the questions and of course, they start with Alexia because Alexia's drama was 80% of the season. Oh, so Andy's just starting right out the gate. So he tells Alexia congratulations on the wedding, you know, one of the very few good things that happened to her. Then we start with the bad, with the most recent news that her son got charged with domestic violence. They even show the article. They say her son was charged with battery, misdemeanor after alleged physical altercation. And Alexia is standing by her son's side. She's saying this is alleged. We are not claiming those charges. I mean, I would expect her to, but we've seen this violent behavior out of your son before, so this isn't like far-fetched. So of course, after Alexia denies the charges on her son's behalf, Andy asks, well, is there a pattern? Because he was charged with assault against a homeless man. Alexia's defense is, well, you know, he was going through a lot. His brother was in ICU. What? So that gave him free reign to like just beat up a homeless person? That was sleep at that? So then we get to Nicole's business about her getting engaged recently. Of course, Andy's asking if there's going to be a prenup. And her man is a lawyer, so she says she's pretty sure there's going to be one. So I was wondering about this question too. Andy asked Nicole, so what made you decide to get married now? Because she was really against it in the beginning of the season. I think it was just because of the show and how much attention it got. But she says that she was just really happy before the engagement. She's going to be happy after. It just wasn't on their mind. She gave him a bullshit answer. Yeah, it was because of the show. And maybe low-key, she wanted to get married. Lord, and now we're talking about children out of wedlock. So what? So what? Larsa's trying to backpedal and pussy pop, but girl, you meant it as a jab towards Nicole. They were having a happy relationship with a kid without marriage. So what? All right, Julia for standing up and speaking out. Like, she's calling Larsa out. Like, you have no place to judge anybody. And I agree with her. Larsa should have just apologized, and Nicole eloquently stated how what Larsa said was very offensive. She did a very good job of breaking that down. So we have our first break for the Housewives, as well as a fourth wall break. And we have Larsa telling the other girls on her side of the couch that she's gonna come for Julia now that she came for her. Like, who does Julia think she is? Like, just because Julia was quiet during the season, I'm glad she liked speaking up, especially on Nicole's behalf. So then they follow Julia and Nicole to the trailer, and then Adriana, she's still chilling there because she hasn't been introduced yet. I really hate that they're sharing a trailer. Like, come on, Peacock. Anyway, they are roasting Larsa in the back. She's saying that, well, are you really surprised from a person who thinks her resume is who you marry and how many kids you procreate? I think Nicole and Julia are a good matchup for Larsa because they're smart and they will get her together. And they still have their spouses. So ladies are back on the couch and they bring Adriana out this time. And I didn't even realize Marisol wasn't even on the couch earlier. I thought she was up there already. But yeah, so they bring those two out because they were literally in every single episode. So I hope they got paid decently because they might as well have been full time. So we also see that Marisol brings her bedazzled sippy cup that she's been slurping, should I say slurping? That she's been sipping on during her confessionals. And she proudly says that there's alcohol and diet lemonade in it. And I'm sure it's before 10 a.m. in the morning. So now this next segment is dedicated to the OGs because it's been literally 8 years since they've been on Bravo. So they're kind of doing like a before and after. Oh, so they are wrong for this. So they do a side-by-side of all the OGs. Larsa's, oh my God, they look like two different people in the pictures. And she does not look amused that they did that. Like, Peacock is so shady for that. And why don't we do a side-by-side with Andy Cohen? How about that? Marisol and Lisa look a little bit different, but Larsa, it's off the chain. So now they're talking about how the fans were more so responsible for bringing this franchise back. I mean, at first, wasn't it because of the ratings? I don't know. And then the ladies, like, the reason why I didn't care for Miami, because the ladies all just looked alike. The demographic really didn't interest me, even though it was Miami, and Miami is like a hot town. Like, the cast, from my point of view, was just blondes and white adjacent Latinos. I'm sorry. It's just how I saw it. But now it looks like the cast is a little bit more fresh. It's diverse without being forced. So, yeah, I like it how it is now. They did a really good job revamping this franchise. I don't know, in this day and age, do we really need to ask the Housewives what surgery they got? It just seems like a little bit invasive and shaming, kinda. Like, I thought they stopped doing that. I would really ask Andy, what work did you get done on your face? Are you getting fillers right now? You tell me your enhancements and I'll tell you mine. However I feel about Larsa, I just think it's a little cruel to just approach her with that question. Like, you look like a completely different person. I think she knows that. She's answering the question really gracefully. She was just like, I'm here with the trends and, you know, it was my choice. And she doesn't look bad. She just looks like every other girl now. And if she wants to look like every other chick, whatever. Now, she does disclose what she got done. And she says she only got her lips and her nose done. Okay. She also said she got her boobs done, obviously. And then Andy's messy. He was like, your butt? And she's like, no, my boobs. But he's like, your butt? She's like, no, I haven't got my butt done. Now, she's lying, of course. I'm sure she's saying that off of a technicality because it's probably her own fat that just went back into her butt. But girl, you got your butt done. And I did see the picture that she posted on her Instagram after the reunion aired. Sweetie, there's angles. I'm a connoisseur of ass, and somebody with ass can definitely look like they have it with the right angle. Everybody's face when she says she didn't get her butt done. Priceless. So Shady Andy tries to get Adriana's opinion on it, and she says that, well, you may say your ass is real, but it just doesn't look natural. And then and then Larsa gets right back to her. She's like, well, if I compare my body to yours, then I'm an athlete. Larsa's like, okay, well, let's talk about your body. Let's talk about your legs. Let's talk about your size Z breasts. Look, I mean, Adriana, you decided to come for her with the shade, so you can't get mad when Larsa comes right back with it. Oh my God. Now, why did Adriana bring up Kim? Oh my goodness. She's like, well, if you want to look like Kim, you can look like Kim. She could not wait to throw that in her face. Now, Larsa, I am happy that you are happy with your work. But you said you look like you? You look like Kylie Jenner. You have the exact same face as Kylie Jenner. Messy Andy, you know, he knows Kim Kardashian, and he tells Larsa, well, you know, you do kind of remind me of Kim, and you sound like her. And Larsa says, well, I've been friends with her for 14 years, so sometimes you pick up things about your friends. I gotta say, that was a hell of a hot seat for Larsa. She handled it gracefully. Like, she didn't break a sweat. I'll give that to her. Damn, they taking another break again? Shit. We are literally only 21 minutes into the episode. So then we follow the ladies all back to their trailers, and they're all just talking about how Larsa is a bold-faced liar. I mean, you have Nicole here, who is a medical professional, saying, well, it's okay if you don't want to address the question, but for you to just lie, it shows your character. So then we see Larsa kind of chewing out Lisa for not having her back, and Lisa's like, well, what did you want me to do? Did you want me to, like, fight somebody or something? Like, I think somebody on her side of the couch could have came to her defense. But Larsa did handle herself well, though. Lisa tells Larsa, I'm friends with the other ladies too, so I mean, I don't want to get into it with them. And then Larsa says, well, you don't even stick up for yourself, so I don't even expect you to stick up for me, and walks off. Damn. So they ask some fluff questions, and then we get to Guerdy. She's talking about her charity event. She says she actually bought her QR code. I think she was joking though, but she said she bought her QR code for some of the ladies to donate because she knows who did and she knows who didn't. And then, you know, Andy shady ass, he was like, okay, well, let's get a show of hands. Who donated at her event? So then Alexia was like, well, I didn't know that, you know, they were accepting donations at a charity event, girl. So then they clean it up a little bit. They did donate dresses, they just didn't donate money. And she said she didn't see a QR code anywhere to donate. Okay. Uh-oh, so here we go with the, I forgot Guerdy was in the drama earlier in the season against Adriana with that whole foot massage thing at Julia's birthday. So they're addressing that. I'm guessing they got over it because they're sitting directly next to each other. Oh, so Guerdy, you know, she laid into Adriana just now, you know, with her right next to her. She said, you know, you were really jealous of all of us and you didn't even let me have a relationship with your homegirl. And also she mocked her work too, that she did for free for Julia. And, you know, Guerdy's in vogue, you know, for her party planning. So, yeah, Adriana needs to go somewhere. But Adriana apologized to her and was like, you know, I was wrong and I apologize. So now we're focusing on Julia and Adriana's odd relationship. And Andy asked Adriana, are you in love with her? And she's like, no, as Julia is holding her hand right now in this moment. They definitely have an inappropriate friendship. So now they're talking about the very awkward and painful situation where they were talking about their deceased children. I think one of the questions was like how Guerdy kind of took Julia's tragedy and then made it about her with her miscarriage. But I kind of saw it as them just sharing stories and showing empathy towards each other. But then Julia says, well, she actually did feel that way, that how Guerdy brought up her situation, that she had to like hold back her tears to make her comfortable. So it did annoy her. But in this moment, Guerdy lets Julia know that she did not know in that moment how she lost her child. And she says she's sorry that it came off that way. But Julia accepts her apology, and clearly they've moved past this. And then Andy moves on to the next topic. Oh gosh, so now the next reel is dedicated to when Larsa came back to the group, and then she let everybody know she had an OnlyFans. So Larsa's defending her OnlyFans. So again, Andy knows what he's doing, and he's asking Adriana her opinion on getting an OnlyFans. And then Adriana was like, oh, well, I was thinking about it. Then I asked my son, and he said, Mom, that's pornography. And then Larsa's like, was he fine with you bringing 2 dates to the same event, though? And then Larsa says the guy that Adriana brought that's sitting in her trailer right now had a girlfriend at the time. And then she asked Andy, oh, can we bring Jacob out here? He's like, no. And Andy's such a shady-ass bitch, that quick-ass no. And then he winked in Larsa's direction. Child. Andy needs to be eaten up. That's when I love when the housewives throw shade at Andy too. And Larsa has a really good point. I mean, did he see you naked on the show? It's the same thing. Like, Adriana, stop coming for Larsa because she is ready for your ass. And now production getting in on it. So now they do a little montage of every time Adriana flashed the camera. Not them trying to explain OnlyFans. I mean, of course, if you subscribe to OnlyFans, you know the game. Nicole asked, well, if your OnlyFans is free, how do you get paid? Well, girl, let me tell y'all how they get paid. They can say like, oh, my subscription is free, $4 a month, but then they DM you and then they do more personal videos and then it's like $10, $5, $20 here. And if you got like, 100,000 followers, I mean, that's a lot of bank. So then the most asked question about Larsa's OnlyFans is, does she show more than feet or her body or nudity? She says she has never been nude on her OnlyFans. I believe her. She probably wearing like thongs and shit, or probably like, covering her nipples or something like that, or like cleverly covered. I'm not surprised by that. And Larsa has a point. If she was doing her OnlyFans, y'all don't think that shit would have leaked by now? Like, Bravo fans are relentless. They love catching these ladies in a lie. I am so glad that they are changing the topic, because now we getting into like her talking to the corrections officer saying they might date or something like that. Let's just move on. So they're talking about Larsa's marriage, and she really has been with this man her entire adult life. She's been with him since she was 21. So 25 years later, they're divorced. Yeah, that'll do a lot to you. Like, she can be young and wild and free. Well, she can look young and be wild and free as much as she wants. She deserves it. They are taking another break. This is the third break in one part of a reunion. Time must be just flying. I'm glad this was just 2 parts. And then we have Marisol keep asking for pee breaks. I'm sure if she had just gulped down that 72-ounce sippy cup she brought, she wouldn't have to be going to the bathroom like that. So then we follow ladies back to the trailer. We're in Julia, Nicole, and Adriana's trailer. And then we see Adriana asking her man, did he have a girlfriend when they were dating at first? And of course he's gonna deny it. And then she's telling him, well, that's what she told me. She said she knows the woman. Larsa was just ready for you, girl. That's all. I noticed that this reunion feels a little bit longer than the ones on Bravo, and it's probably because it's 55 minutes without commercials. If this was on Bravo, this would probably be an hour-and-a-half reunion. So the ladies are back on the couch, and this reel is now dedicated to Julia's arc on the show. So you're just talking about Julia's relationship, and she is the first housewife in 15 years to be in a same-sex relationship. So Julia is giving us a background on her deceased child's father. Apparently he wasn't a good man, and he was murdered. Julia also, she is working for this first seat. She definitely earned it. This story she's telling about her ex that died, this is, woof. All the ladies are just like this. They're just like, girl, what? Wow, this is like a movie she's telling. This actually happened. Basically, she's saying she met up with her ex's mistress, and this mistress was the one that killed him. The woman who she met up with 5 months earlier also says she knows something about her deceased child as well. And she says to this day, they did not find the nanny that was connected to her child. I really do like Julia for this show. Like, she's so nice and humble. And even though she's the Cynthia of this show, which some people may call her boring, like, she does have heart, and she just seems like a really nice person. Even Larsa puts her beef with Julia on the side to commend her strength. So now they switch gears, and then the next topic is dedicated to Nicole and her arc on the show. And first we get into Nicole's beef with Marisol. Side note, they could have brought Kiki in for just a little bit, maybe even in the second part. Like, Kiki deserved to at least just make a little appearance on the reunion. She was so fun. So first is Marisol versus Nicole in a game of he said, she said. She's saying that, I'm guessing of talking about Lisa's house or whatever. And Lisa and Nicole are good friends, so I'm guessing they're just trying to expose her ass. So Marisol be bragging how she knows everybody and she run tell that. So then Nicole says that somebody on her interior design team went to high school with Marisol. And he asked her, what did she think about Lisa's house? And she said, her honest opinion, and that's where it came from. So then Alexia jumps in and says, oh, you're trying to lie right now. So you're going to tell the truth, or I'm going to have to tell the truth for you? So then allegedly she says that Nicole went out with Alexia and her husband, and she said that she talked shit about Lisa's house, and Nicole is denying it. And then she says, oh, she says she has Chinese tiles on her floors. What's wrong with getting anything made in China? Is that bad? I don't know. I'm just wondering. Not Chinese, God forbid. Oh, so if it comes from China, that means that it's cheap. Okay. Nicole then hits them with, look at what we are talking about right now. This is ridiculous. We're talking about interior designing. Who cares? And she has a good point. And then Larsa jumps in and says, but you called me a hooker. Nicole says she didn't say that. And then Lisa pipes in, she said you dress like a hooker. Nicole then maintains her innocence and says that she did not say any of this. Now, I like Nicole. Maybe she's just a good ass liar because I'm kind of believing her. She seems like she has no reason to lie. And here we go with Marisol again saying that she know everybody. So now Nicole is telling her truth now because she said Alexia was the first person she met and they went out together and Alexia was debriefing her on the cast and who was coming back. And she says that Marisol was furious about something on the show. And before she can finish, Alexia is calling her a liar. Oh, so according to Nicole, she got married for relevancy to be on the show full time, but instead she got a friend of role. I mean, what Nicole's saying kind of lines up. Marisol is kind of like the charade of the season. Like, you got to have something going on in your life. You just can't be shady and a good reader. You got to have something actually going on with you. Nicole is saying that Alexia 100% said this, and then Alexia comes back with something she could have used as a fire tagline. She says, you're a good liar, but not better than my honesty. Ooh, and Nicole says she swear on her kid's life. I mean, I gotta say, either she's telling the truth or she is a damn good liar. So then Andy asked the other women, have they heard anything about Nicole talking shit about the other ladies? Most of them say no. And it gets real quiet, and that is where part 1 of the reunion ends. This was decent. I enjoyed this way more than Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And then the next part is the last one. I'm in. Please bring them back, Bravo, for season 5. I want to see them. I gotta say, they can bump up Marisol and Adriana if they want to as full-time. I enjoyed this, y'all, but let me know whose side y'all on, and let me know what you thought about this reunion. So yeah, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all for the next episode. Bye.